Hello, and welcome to Rockstars Uncensored with Laura Hargrove. I am Laura Hargrove. Today's guest is Brian Forsythe of Kicks and Rhino Bucket. First off, I'd like to just thank my sponsors and give a little information of each. Have you been searching for an experienced hairstylist who attends yearly hairstyle conferences? There I go again, screwing up. To keep up with all the new trends, I have just the stylist for you. Stop by or call Doug Bauer of Doug's Place of Hairstyling to book your appointment today. He's located at 307 East Broadway, Bismarck, or go ahead and give him a call at 701-258-6424. The second sponsor I have is The Shop, Your Motorcycle Connections. This is a motorcycle business to fit all your riding needs. They carry everything you need: leather, coats, chaps, vests, hats, gloves, patches, pins, and at least, but certainly not... oh, this is not going good. Last, but certainly not least, all your motorcycle parts and accessories. They're locally owned by a Vietnam veteran, Butch Olson. Stop down and support your vets and locally owned business. They are located at 131 Airport Road in Bismarck. Big Willie's ATP is our natural products that help for many of your ailments, such as insomnia, anxiety. Just need to relax, lacking some energy. They even have intimate supplements in case you're having some problems with sexual. They have a thing, actually it's an all-natural Viagra. They also sell like an assortment of items like collector's knives. They also have North Dakota's largest selection of wild berry incense. Also, they're going to be carrying a new line of self-defense devices. I guess we'll be able to release that when they get them in. Stop in and find what fits your needs at Big Willie's ATP, located at 3028 Memorial Highway on the Strip, Mandan, Bismarck. Okay, and here we will get Brian on the phone here in just one moment. Brian, are you with me?
Yes, I am.
All right, Brian. How you doing today?
Good. I just got back from walking my dog.
Sushi?
Yes.
Yes. What a lovely dog. I know you love her. You definitely have a lot of pictures of her on your site. You actually love animals quite a bit. You were full-time, and I know you went down to like part-time, but you worked for a veterinary hospital clinic. Is that correct?
Yeah, I worked there for 12 years. I actually don't work there anymore. I mean, they still technically have me on as a relief person, but I haven't done anything there since, the last time I worked there was at the end of September. I did a couple of weeks. And
what did you exactly do? What was your job?
Well, I was, I don't know what you would call me, an assistant. I took care of the kennels, and I wasn't quite a vet tech because I never went to school for it or anything, but I could do a lot of the vet tech stuff. So I do a lot of the restraining of the animals for procedures, but I could also like run the lab stuff, run the blood in the lab, and I did a lot of the grooming stuff, the nails and the anals and the and that kind of thing, and the ears. And I was the one that gave the baths and the dips and all that stuff too.
So you're the one that kind of got to spoil all of them. I mean, to a point, except for I'm sure some of them didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, compared to like the actual vets or the techs, I got to hang out with the animals more. It was more my job that I had the more direct contact with the animals.
And I know you definitely love animals. You also do some help, like finding places for animals as well sometimes?
Well, my girlfriend's like into the whole rescue thing. She's more into the cat thing, but we're kind of involved in that whole rescue kind of thing. You know, we help out rescue places, and we go to all the benefit things that they have, and even at that clinic where I worked, we worked with several rescue organizations, and they used to bring their dogs in there, and they would keep them there while they found homes for them.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
I always support the Humane Society and ASCPA, correct? I guess I have a real issue with animal cruelty. Breaks my heart.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, let's get into getting to know you a little bit better. Was the guitar the first instrument that you picked up, or did you learn something and then progress into the guitar?
Yeah, guitar was the first one. I mean, even before I could play guitar, I wanted to play guitar. I mean, since I was about 6 years old, I used to just fantasize about being a rock star. And so I started out with guitar, but soon, right around the time I picked up the guitar, I also had a fascination with the drums, so I learned to play drums too. In the first band, when I was in junior high, the first band that I was in, I was actually the drummer. And then the guitar player could also play drums a little, so we used to switch off. And, some songs he'd play drums and I'd play guitar, and other songs I'd play drums and he'd play guitar. And then we eventually I got better on guitar. I wasn't really meant to be a drummer, so we ended up getting a drummer and having two guitar players.
And just curiosity, what was the name of that band?
Oh, good question. Let's see if I can remember back that far. That might have been called Vanilla Grass.
Vanilla Grass, that's an unusual name.
But that was like, 1971, 72? Well, no, maybe not 71. That's a little farther back. Probably 72, 73 or so.
Stacy's over here giving me the puffin, the chiva. The Vanilla Grass. Okay. Now, they also call you, they give you the nickname Damage.
Uh-huh.
Can you tell me how you got that nickname and who gave it to you?
Yeah, I've been asked this question many times. Well, it started out. People would always misspell my name and call me Brain. Well, not call me, but they write it down and it would be spelled Brain.
Yeah.
Instead of Brian, they reversed the I and the A. And when we were doing the Midnight Dynamite record, Bo Hill, the guy that produced the record, used to call me Brain. He'd always go, Brain. I mean, it's just what he called me. And then I used to show up at the studio in the morning all hungover, and at one point he goes, they should just call you Brain Damage. And it just stuck after that.
Well, it definitely makes sense, because I seen that, I was like, Brian Damage Forsythe, and I had to ask. Definitely had to ask. And you are the one that founded Kix. You're the one that put that whole band together. Is that correct?
No, not really. It was initially it was Donnie and Ronnie, and then they called me.
Oh.
So I was the third person. So it was Donnie and Ronnie with and a drummer, a different drummer. And I think they had tried to put it together with a couple other guys first, and it didn't work out. And then they were looking for another guitar player, and they called me.
Well, I think I read someone must have some information mixed up, because I read it somewhere that you were the founder. So I'm glad we cleared that up.
I can't take credit for that.
Okay. Where did they come up with the name Kix? And why did you spell it with an X?
It was sort of spur of the moment. We were called the Shoes to begin with, spelled Shooze. But there was another band called the Shoes, Shoes, in the Midwest. So the record company says, well, that's too close. You got to change it. So we changed it to the Generators and recorded the record, did the artwork for the first album cover based on the name The Generators, And then it turns out there was a band in Cleveland called the Generators. So we had to change it again. And the artwork was already done, except that they needed to put the name of the band on the artwork.
Mm-hmm.
And so they came to us and they go, okay, you gotta change it again. And so it was like a real spur of the moment thing. And Donnie just said Kix, K-I-X, because the band that he was in before he formed Kix was called Jax, J-A-X.
Okay.
So he just sort of took it. I don't know. That's how he came up with it.
Well, that's interesting.
And we were all kind of Kix. I don't know, but it was like we didn't have time to think about it. It was like, oh, okay.
Almost left with no other choice.
Yeah, and it was they needed the name like right then and there, and so that's just the way it happened.
I still even have Kix tapes, and they still play.
Oh, really?
Yes, I have. I believe Midnight Dynamite, Blow My Fuse, and I know there's one other one, but I cannot remember which one it is. But yeah, I actually still have them, and they're still playable.
Yeah, I probably still have a couple cassettes stuck away somewhere, but they're probably not even open. They're probably still in little cellophane wrappers.
Well, they would be worth money, wouldn't they? Especially not opened.
Maybe.
See, you could autograph it and eBay that stuff. You'd be muco rich.
Yeah, it's funny because I bought the last couple. One of my few CDs I bought from eBay.
Really? Are you much of an eBay shopper?
I lost all that stuff along the way somewhere, and then had to rebuy it.
Oh, I see. So you got to kind of like the Gene Simmons, got to have something of everything that's ever been produced.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to have a copy of my own records.
I can't blame you there. Now you also in what year did you join the band Rhino Bucket?
I think that was around 2000. It was a while ago. I had been playing with Reeve through the 90s. Reeve is the bass player.
Mm-hmm.
And we played in a blues band together. And then around 97 or so, well, maybe sooner than that even, somewhere along the line, we ran into George and then put together, it was sort of Rhino Bucket with a different drummer back then, but it was called Deep Six Holiday, and it was pretty much Rhino Bucket. But and then that kind of fell apart. And then around 2000, they called me again and said, "Hey, Ricky Rackman wants to do this Cat House reunion thing and start having the old bands playing, and he wanted to know if Rhino Bucket would play or would reform and play for the Cat House." And their original guitar player didn't want to do it, and so they said, "You're the only, the obvious choice of guitar. Would you want to do it?" And it's funny because at the time I was doing something else, and I had to think about it, and I thought, well, I'll just do this one gig and help them out. So I learned all the songs, because before that I didn't know any of the Rhino Bucket songs. In that other band, we didn't play Rhino Bucket. It was just, I don't know, it was a bunch of original songs, which ended up on the first Rhino Bucket record. But so I had to learn all the Rhino Bucket songs to do this gig, and then after that, we got another gig, and then another gig, and then we got an offer to do a movie soundtrack and write some new songs. And by that point, I was pretty much in the band. I mean, I'd already been playing the songs, and then we started working on new songs. So that's sort of how that happened.
And that movie was The Outdoorsman, right?
That was a later movie. The first one that we did music for was called Rolling Kansas.
Okay.
And that was directed by Thomas Hayden Church. And he was a huge Rhino Bucket fan. And so they called us in to do. We did we put songs in there. And I played a bunch of in between guitar stuff, between scenes. I mean, we pretty much did the soundtrack to that movie.
I'll have to. I don't believe I've ever seen that movie. I'll have to check that out.
Well, I think it went straight to DVD. But they were playing it on the Comedy Channel when it first came out. You could see it on there.
I guess I haven't seen the Comedy Channel for a while. I have to find that some way or another, rent the movie or something. That'd
Yeah,
be
you
interesting.
can definitely rent it. I've seen it around.
Okay, Brian, it's time for us. We're going to have to take a break, and we are going to be playing your song by Kix, Pants on Fire, Liar, Liar. We will be right back with Brian Forsythe.